Welcome back into CTV Morning Live, and thanks for spending your Tuesday with us. Well, the deadline to submit your taxes has now passed, and some Canadians could be receiving a bill in the mail. If you're not in a position to pay off the debt, we have some advice from a professional on what you can do exactly during this time. Jasmine Marra from Bromwich+Smith joins us this morning to discuss. Good morning.
Good morning, Andrea.
Thank you so much for joining us. So due to that changing economic climate that we all know by now, the tax deadline was pushed a little bit later. It was actually to June. So what does this mean for a lot of people?
Yes, that's right. Providing a little bit of relief, but of course we did have to do our taxes. So at this point, either people are receiving a refund or a bill in the mail.
So if they are receiving that bill, what do people need to know if they do get one in the mail as of right now?
I think there's a couple of things that they should know as it relates to the CRA as a creditor. I mean, I think we've all heard that old saying, there's two things inevitable, death and taxes. And while that's absolutely true, of course, the first thing to know is that the CRA is a creditor just like any other creditor. And what that means is that that debt is dischargeable under the Bankruptcy Insolvency Act. So if you're feeling like you can't pay it, there is a path forward. The next thing is that the CRA is actually referred to as what we call an unwilling creditor. And this is because the CRA is not actually someone that you've borrowed money from, but rather it's someone that you owe money to. And all that money, of course, goes to the good of all citizens in Canada. And the last thing is, if you do get a tax bill, it's really important to address as quickly as possible. The penalties and interest on these things can be quite high, and there is a lot of limited flexibility, I should say.
Absolutely. And I know for a lot of people right now, there's that stress and anxiety maybe surrounding being able to pay it in general. So maybe for somebody who cannot pay it as of right now, because I know that you said you should address it immediately, what exactly can they be doing?
I think the first course of action is if you receive a bill that you can't pay, reach out to the CRA. A lot of times they will help negotiate the terms. Usually they won't decrease the amount owed, but they may be willing to flex a little bit of relief on interest and penalties, especially right now. So that's the first step. The next step is really take time to try and determine why you ended up with this bill. Of course, that's not going to help you right now, but it will help you prevent future issues. So sometimes we see, people have two jobs, they're not paying enough tax because one employer doesn't know about the other. Maybe you forgot to put some money aside as a small business, or perhaps you've delegated to your accountant and really haven't been as close as you need to be. So just kind of understanding that so you can course correct. The next thing is you could look at definitely selling a redundant asset or even getting a bank loan. And a lot of people may or may not like that option, but it is an option. And then the very last thing is if you're not able to pay the debt as it becomes due, you can invoke that protection through a licensed insolvency trustee like Bromwich+Smith. So give us a call for a free consultation, and we'll be able to talk about how to handle that CRA debt that you may not be able to pay.
And I think just expanding on that too, a lot of people right now probably do have a lot of questions. There's a lot of small things that maybe just for somebody like myself might miss. What would be your biggest tip right now for anybody that is currently dealing with a bill that just arrived?
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting a bill and you're not able to pay, I mean, the first thing is there is free consultations available, particularly through Bromwich+Smith. We offer a free debt consultation. So you're able to reach out, get that confidential, private, personalized consultation without any dollars upfront.
Good piece of advice. Thanks for that, Jasmine. If for anybody at home maybe that's looking for a little bit more information, maybe you do need a consultation, head online to bromwichandsmith.com. Thanks, Jasmine.
Thanks.
Debt Real Talk with Bromwich+Smith. Free confidential debt relief consultations.